more time they can have an instruction to tackle properly, to play the football safely, that's why you need to go to camps as well.
I'm going to ask you a wide-ranging question in a moment. As the pass is deflected, falls incomplete. What has football meant to your life?
I've done it since I was 7 years old. You know, and I've done it in 45 years old. I played professionally for 16 years. I coach it now. I broadcast it. I even coordinate football action in movies. And so it's been life lessons, but more importantly, as a youngster, I learned teamwork. I learned mental toughness and overcoming adversity, all those things that are life lessons, whether you have a long life in football as an adult, the lessons you learn playing this sport carry you on for the rest of your life.
Do you have any fun doing it?
Oh, my gosh. It's been great.
2nd down and 10, and Schuler will just Bentley will heave it out of bounds. I must confess, I'm having trouble with Schuler Bentley's name simply because I'm used to Heath Schuler being a last name, and we're talking about Schuler Bentley. The quarterback in there is headed for Old Dominion, the quarterback for the American team, and it's giving me fits. I just can't get that mental block going out of my head here.
I played with Heath Schuler when he was a rookie. I was a quarterback with the Washington Redskins in 1994, awaiting to see who they were going to draft, and sure enough, they drafted Heath Schuler in the 1st round.
So 3rd and 10 for Schuler Bentley out of the gun. 3 wides to the near side. Running back off his right hip, and boy, that thing is just batted out of midair, charging right up the middle for the national team, Craig Evans. And I'll tell you, that's outstanding technique there. As you said, if you can't get to the quarterback, do the next best thing, and he did right there.
How about my man Craig Evans? That's the 2nd time he's been able to touch the football tonight. He almost had an interception earlier.
That's right.
Now he gets a big paw on the ball, and he had a tackle for loss in the 1st half. Having a great game tonight.
Absolutely. All right, 4th down, so either a free kick or automatic punt here. I've decided not to delve into the intricacies of that any longer. Let's just wait and see what they do.
Where they spot
the ball, we'll start talking again. 6:20 left to go in the 3rd quarter. We've been scoreless so far in this 2nd half, 14-6. The national team, the gray team, with the lead over the American team.
Nice punt.
And it's kind of nice. You actually have a man running on the fly there as the free kick is kicked. Kara Rowe on the sideline with a player
I'm here with
guest.
Chase Winovich. Now talk to me about this game so far, Chase. What's it been like?
You know, it's been pretty hectic, just like trying to learn everything this week. But we're having a lot of fun out there, and you know, it's just great to get out on the field again with all these guys, and it's so cool, you know, to have this opportunity, and I'm really blessed.
And talk to me about where you're going next year.
I will be attending the University of Michigan.
Yeah, and do you know how big Michigan football is? Are you excited for that?
Michigan football is huge, and I'm still waiting for some Twitter followers from it. But you know, like I said, it's a great opportunity. I'm blessed for the whole thing.
Good luck, Chase.
Thank you.
Back to you, Rich.
Thanks, Kara. Nice defensive play right there by the Americans as number 38, Jalen Williams, comes up from the corner to make the stop.
Yeah, and that running back, that number 66, that's not on my. And he's got a different color helmet out there, too. They must have lost his equipment.
Well, we're in the main. The rosters are serving us well, but we get the occasional gap here. And another nice defensive stand by that American defense. How about that defensive line? Stopping that ball carrier, number 66 for no gain. He's just a little guy, a fire plug 66 for the national team. Big, he's beefy, he's not tall, I guess is what I'm trying to say. He's thick, but he's not tall.
Well, the American defense showed a few holes at the end of the 2nd quarter. Right now, they're really buckling down, playing good defense.
Big play here, 3rd down and 8. And a sack in the backfield. It's number 90 for the Americans. That's Trent Harris bringing the quarterback, Chris Durkin, down.
I know this guy well. I cover high school sports here in Central Florida. Trent Harris coming off the edge. Winter Park High School right down the road here. An All-American headed to the U. See him do that a lot this year.
How about that?
For Winter Park High School.
Loss of 5 on the sack brings up 4th down. And we'll have a change of possession as we're at 4.5 to go in the third quarter, and the clock is running. All the scoring in this game in the first half. A 54-yard interception return for a score by Kendall Sawyer. He's had 2 interceptions in this game here tonight. And we've had a rushing touchdown for the national team by Nate Brown. And, or I should say, he actually caught a touchdown pass for the American team. And at any rate, 14-6 is the score as the Americans will take over at around their 25-yard line.
You know, for the national team, we saw Stanley Williams from the running back position at the end of the second quarter have a great drive for rushing the football. We haven't seen him since.
That's right.
You know, everyone's getting a chance to play in these all-star games and showcase their talent. But, wow, Williams was really a fire plug for that national offense.
And we should point out each team has dressed about 40 players for this game tonight. So you've certainly you got a lot of guys that you want and need to work into this football game. Everybody who's here at the camp deserves the opportunity to showcase their talents, and we're seeing that happen here. Sweep around left end won't pick up much. Jalon Oglesby, the ball carrier.
Well, we've seen Oglesby play slot receiver most of the game, now getting some run from the running back position, and just an overall athlete. He can also play on the defensive side of the ball. Big talent out of the backfield or at the wide receiver position.
So second down, 9 to go after the pickup of a yard. Schuler Bentley directing his troops. Going to line up C.J. Fuller off his right hip, the only running back in the backfield, to go with 4 wide receivers, 2 to either side. Bentley dropping. Pressure coming. He's in trouble, and down he goes. Sacked back there by Rick Leonard for a loss to the 20-yard line. A loss of 5.
Yeah, nice pass rush by that national defense. And you know, the back end, these DBs on both sides of the ball have been really sound in coverage. Really, the only big plays in the passing game have been given up. They've kind of been jump balls where guys have gone up and got it. But really a good job of defense on both sides.
So third down, 15. The Americans trailing by 8 in this football game. They're wearing the red and yellow uniforms. Bentley. Long toss, the home run ball down the left side and just out of the reach of the diving wide receiver. David Njoku unable to come up with it.
But I like the trajectory of the deep ball by Schuler Bentley. It gives your receiver a chance by putting air underneath it to go out and go get it. But good coverage and another fourth down, free punt situation.
Well, Pat O'Hara, while we have the exchange of possession here, we'd like to take the opportunity to thank our viewers. There are 70,000 of them watching around the country and indeed around the world on O-D.com and on GoLiveSportscast.com. Thanks for joining us for this 2014 Senior Bowl here at the Citrus Bowl in Orlando, Florida. 70,000 people watching this game. Now I'm nervous. I like having the Gunners go on this free kick.
Yeah, they get a lot of camera time. Watch this. You'll see. There he is. Look at all that free camera time.
There we go.
See that. Go down and touch the ball. He's done that a couple times.
There we go. He downs it at the 33, although, again, we're not 100% sure that's where the ball ultimately will be placed once play resumes. But a good free kick there of just under 50 yards. And the national team will take over here in what has turned into, at least in the second half, into a battle of automatic punts. Both the defenses have played well in this second half. Really, with the exception of one prolonged drive for either team, the defenses have played well throughout this game. So 1st and 10, the football at the 45-yard line. And a give up the middle by the national team for not much.
You know, in these all-star games, you see it in a lot. You see they have a couple of gadget trick plays. Now, I'm not sure exactly what the rules are against that or for it, but you got to wonder if you might see some kind of a gadget play at some point here to try to get some points on the board.
D.K. Buford credited with a gain of 2 on first down. As Durkin in that pistol formation, abruptly stands up, looks to the sideline, gets his call, and hands off up the middle and out beyond the 50-yard line goes D.K. Buford. Buford headed for Ole Miss.
Nice job by Buford. It's been tough going in between the tackles. Buford has the ability to get skinny and slide through low pad level, and a nice gain right there. Gain of 7.
So third down up and coming here for the national team. Durkin pulls it in, going to go for it himself. There's a flag as Durkin did pick up first down yardage to the 44, but the yellow flag is out.
Yeah, we're going to have a holding call, and it's going to come back. Unfortunately, that would have been a first down.
He knifed in there nicely, Durkin did, and dove forward to make the line to gain, but it is holding, as Pat O'Hara points out. And they'll bring that football back to the 41-yard line. And now it's 3rd and 12. 3rd and 13, in fact. They keep backing it up. Now it's 3rd and 14. If I keep talking, it's going to be 3rd and 30 here before too long. We're already into the final minute of the third quarter. Hard to believe. 3rd down, 13 to go. Durkin flushed, throws, incomplete. Almost intercepted down there, almost. Picked off by Cortez McDonald.
Yeah, Durkin did a good job initially of extending the play, but a poor throw. Not on the same page with the receiver. Fortunate that wasn't intercepted.
So 4th and 14.
Free punt.
There you go. Now there will be an awards ceremony following the game here tonight for not only the players participating here in this Senior Bowl, but for all 1,300 participants in the offense-defense camp this week here in Orlando. And that should be a pretty good show. Here's that free. What a booming kick right there by the national punter in that free kick situation. That's the number 18, Logan Cook. I was watching him when the teams came back out after halftime, and he set the ball up, not on the tee, but that device they used to simulate a football being held, and he was very nearly knocking him through from 50 yards out. What is that called, by the way?
It's a practice tee.
There you go, then.
Yeah, it's, you know, kickers make them out of PVC piping.
Okay.
And for years have made their own, and now someone got a great idea to actually make one and patent it. And a lot of guys, every kicker carries one around with them.
There we are. But like I said, he was setting the ball up at the 40, and he came within just a yard or so of knocking one through from 50 yards out, which I thought was pretty impressive for a guy who was still a high school kicker. New quarterback in there for the Americans as the ball's taken around the left-hand side by Taiwan Deal. That's Aline Edward back in at quarterback for the American team. He's been in there for a couple of series. Actually completed a long pass earlier on in that first half, threw a bomb that was good for 56-plus yards.
Yeah, he's a South Florida guy and headed to Syracuse, and very athletic quarterback with tremendous speed. I mean, this guy's a game breaker. Keep an eye on him. Rushing the football. He's a 4-4 legit guy.
2nd down and 8 for the American team at the 25-yard line. 14-6, the national team, the team in the gray uniforms, they've got the lead. It has been a scoreless second half so far. And a whistle on the snap, and all sorts of flags come in.
Yeah, it looked like Luke Palmer got going a little quick from the guard position. He's a Central Florida commit. At a Hardy High School, Wauchula, Florida. Had to been excited watching the Tostitos Bowl the other night, watching the Knights win.
Well, I got the impression when I arrived here in Florida and was watching the newscast the morning after the game that all of Central Florida was pretty excited about that bowl game.
I tell you what, a lot of excitement here in Central Florida over their football team, and everyone awaiting the decision of their quarterback, Blake Bortles, who's dramatically risen in the draft ranking boards as only a redshirt junior.
The American team has used the same formation predominantly here tonight. They employ it again here with two wide split to either side, and Edwards finds an opening, sets, fires, and that ball hung in the air just a little bit too long, and it's broken up down there by Amara, who's got an interception tonight, and a guy whose name we've called more than once. No question about that.
Yeah, Amara, another pass breakup.
That's maybe 4 for him as I think about it.
And an interception. And
right. And that'll bring up 3rd and long, 3rd and 13. 20 seconds left to go here in the third quarter. On what is for Central Florida a chilly night. I would guess we're down into the 40s already at this point.
It feels
like it, doesn't it?
It does. It's unusually cold here in Central Florida.
But not to worry, it's going to be back up to 80 tomorrow. And we do have more football for you tomorrow, by the way, as the offense-defense camp continues. We'll have those games for you here on O-D.com and on GoLiveSportscast.com. And if you're one of the 70,000 watching tonight from wherever in the world you may be, great to have you with us as the third down pass falls incomplete. So that will probably do it. Now they do stop the clock on the incomplete pass. It had run for a second or two after the play was over, but it stops with 15 seconds left to go in the third.
There are tremendous athletes on this field, and although we've gone, some 4 and outs here in this third quarter, at any moment,
right,
there's some game breakers out here that can break this thing wide open, and it wouldn't surprise me to see that happen.
And still, by definition, a close football game, a one-score game, an 8-point difference as the Nationals have that 14-6 lead. So only a touchdown and a 2-point conversion, and here's the free kick. And another boomer. And it goes out of bounds around the 33 or thereabouts. I believe our coverage begins tomorrow morning at 8:30 here on O-D.com. Welcome to come by the way, Pat, tomorrow if you want to watch some of these youngsters play some ball. They've been running these games with either 25-minute or 40-minute continuous clock halves. And they've been getting a lot of players on the field. Yesterday, we had games that started at 8 o'clock in the morning, and the last one kicked at 8:30 at night. It was quite a long day here at the Citrus Bowl. But you know what? I get such a kick out of watching these little kids, and here's a big gainer up the middle. First down yardage, and more than that, one of the biggest runs we've seen in this game so far, and it's Gerald Owens, who's headed for Michigan State, my school. Way to go, Gerald. And he has a solid gain into American territory.
Well, Gerald Owens, that's his first carry, and he's been playing predominantly the fullback position and blocking and trying to help his running back out. That time, they gave the ball to this 6'1", 250-pound back, and he ran some people over for a nice gain. Physical football in between the tackles.
That is as solid a power run as we have seen in this game tonight. Kara Rowe down on the sideline. Take it away, Kara.
Fourth and final quarter coming up, and you know what? So far, the trainers have said no injuries, typical of what you'd see of an all-star game. The biggest problem with the guys, most of them didn't pack enough clothes, not warm enough clothes, so the coaches have them up off the benches trying to stay warm in this game, and they feel that may be a little bit of the mishaps on offense where you're seeing some of these misses because it is really chilly down here. Rich?
Kara, I got to tell you, some of us up here in the booth didn't pack enough clothes to account for this chilly weather here in Central Florida.
Well, Kara and you, Richard, came from some pretty cold weather in Michigan, and you guys think it's cold here, and so you can imagine what us Floridians feel like right now.
I'll tell you what, Pat, when I get home this weekend, they are telling me that the high temperature on Monday in Detroit is expected to be 2 below zero.
That's all, huh?
You betcha. Well, Keith Dunlop brings us stats through 3 quarters, and total yards in that third quarter. The Gray had 57, and the Red was held to 6 yards of offense in the third. For the game, look how even it is. The American team, 183 yards, and the national team has 177. Only a 6-yard difference in total yardage in this game. And there's Owen again on the carry for the national team down to the 31-yard line. And he'll pick up a couple of yards on that carry.
Yeah, if Gerald Owens can get that last run of 15, then come back with another power run, why not give it to him again? But now entering the game is Stanley Williams. We'll see what he can do from the tailback position.
We haven't seen him, I think, since the second quarter when he broke off a long one. Not much on that carry, as we have a flag on the far sideline.
Oh, and Williams is down.
Yeah, the trainer comes out immediately to take a look at Stanley Williams, bound for Kentucky.
Yeah, well, Stanley Williams was on the sideline for a long time, and
there was that, and I think he just got rolled up a little bit on that tackle. It just looked a little bit awkward to me.
Yeah, Trent Harris made the tackle. It looked like he might have got his foot stuck in the ground, but boy, in an all-star game, you just hate to see someone get dinged up and just hope that Williams can get up and shake it off.
The good news is he is sitting up, and it's good to see that happen as soon after the injury occurred, as is the case here. But he's being tended to, and the two teams will take a knee. I want to remind you, we are joining you from the Citrus Bowl in Orlando, Florida. It's going to be impressive when they renovate this stadium, something that is supposed to begin here in the next week or two. They've got big plans for this arena, this stadium.
They really do, and it's undergone a lot of change over the past 5 to 10 years as well. And you know, the new field was put in, the field turf was put in a few years ago, and hosts a lot of great events here. And with the new refurbished stadium, and you see the designs and the mock-up here around the building and of what it's going to be, and it's really what's needed here in Orlando. And this is it's an older facility, but it's classic, and it's a beautiful facility.
Yes.
And the modifications they're going to make will attract more and more events here and continued bowl games and successful ones.
The American team called for offside, and the 5-yard walk-off means 2nd down and 1. William Crest Jr. back in at quarterback for the national team, number 16, offset I. And the give off the left side to D.K. Buford, out of bounds inside the 25 for a first down.
Yeah, Buford gets the first down, moves the chains, and now another positive drive here. You know, the last time the great team was able to drive the ball, Crest was in at quarterback, and he's been back in at quarterback on this drive, and they're moving the football.
Well, I would say the football game rests on this defensive stand here by the American team. They trailed by 8. Points have been at a premium, and I'm not sure they can afford to fall too much further behind. 1st and 10 at the 23 for the National. Crest dropping.
There he
looking,
is.
firing, got a man wide open, an easy touchdown. Finds number 86, Blake Bone, wide open down the left side. And he just trots into the end zone for a 23-yard touchdown catch and a 20-6 lead for the national team.
That play was set up nicely. They run the bubble screen, pump it, get reaction from the secondary on the pump fake. And Blake Bone wide open on the vertical, 6'5" receiver headed to Kentucky.
There you go. Well, Kentucky, we have mentioned their name numerous times tonight. It's going to be interesting to keep an eye on that program over the next year or two. Extra point attempt up and coming. It is through the uprights. So the extra point by Cook is good. And let's take a look at this touchdown, and let's see if we can ascertain just how it was that Bone got as wide open as he turned out to be.
Well, you watch the pump fake on the bubble screen, and then the vertical's wide open. And on a pump fake by a quarterback, it doesn't have to be huge. Just a head and shoulder fake, reset the ball, and get it out for the easy touchdown. I just counted up, Richard. There are 6 Kentucky commits just on the national side here. 6 players headed to Kentucky.
Isn't that something? But that was an excellent point you made earlier. It's something I hadn't considered, that a young man might say, you know, it's not LSU or Alabama or Florida State, but it is the SEC. And, boy, you're going to be playing in some big football games against the best competition that the country has to offer.
And you know, you're playing against, like you said, the best competition. You're playing on bigger stages on national television. And Woody Bomack from Rivals at halftime confirmed that a lot of these kids will do that. I want to play in the SEC.
Here we go. And you know what? You might find yourself in a situation where it's a dream of a lifetime, where you go into a place like Florida State if you're Kentucky and pull off an upset, something that maybe hasn't happened in 30, 40 years, and you've got a chance to be a part of that.
Well, you see a little different rule in this All-Star game as well, is allowing returners to return the ball out of the end zone, which is in high school football is an automatic touchback, but in this All-Star game, allowing the returners, which I think is a good thing, as these young men's high school careers are over and they're now playing college-type rules in this All-Star game.
So the Americans, they've fallen behind now by 15 points, 21-6. They will start at their own 20-yard line. Have not shown us very much offense in this second half. In fact, as we mentioned just a moment ago, the American team with 6 yards of total offense in the entire third quarter. Heading out is Dante Thomas Williams, the running back, joining the huddle just a little bit late. We'll see what the Americans can come up with to get back into this football game. Schuler Bentley moving up under center here. Again, that very familiar formation with wide receivers, 2 of them to either side. And they give up the middle, and Dante Thomas Williams can't find any hole whatsoever. Fortunate to muscle that ball ahead for a yard.
Yeah, this national defense done a great job all night of just not giving anything in the running game and being solid on the back end in coverage.
And especially in that in this second half, they have completely shut the American team down. It's been a well-played football game, though.
Wow.
Great catch. Schuler Bentley's pass hauled in down there. A one-hand grab by Vic Wharton III. Nice catch.
What a catch by Vic Wharton, headed to Tennessee. That ball could have been intercepted, but gets one hand on the ball on the back shoulder, able to corral it in. Brings up a more manageable third down. Richard, this is critical right now in the fourth quarter to move the chains and keep this drive going so they can stay in the game.
3rd down and 4. Schuler Bentley looks it over. An umbrella formation here. Looking to his left, throws to his left, completes it for first down yardage as he found Wharton again for the second play in a row.
Yeah, why not? Come right back to Wharton after that one-hand catch. Hit the little out route, high percentage play from the left hash, short side of the field. Moves the chains, huge first down for the American.
So the ball out to the 34. The Americans want to keep things moving here. They're going to need 2 scores to either tie or take the lead as we go under 12 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. 21-6 Nationals. Bentley sails it across the way and sailed it just a little bit too much for Ishmael Zamora to catch it.
I'll tell you what, it's a long throw from the left hash, and it's a good thing he threw it high, because if he threw it any lower, that would have gone the other way. And, you know, it's tough to get on the same page with your receivers in a short amount of time. But what you don't want to do is turn the ball over. So if you got to throw it away like Bentley did, so be it on first down. You come back on second, try it again.
This time, 3 wides to set to the right side of Schuler Bentley. He's got protection, gets the pass away, and nice job cleaning up by the cornerback who comes in late, number 5, DJ Smith, to finish that play off after a gain of just a couple of yards.
I'm glad DJ Smith made a play, because I want to talk about him. This guy is a great cover guy, but an excellent hitter. He's one of those undeclared guys. He's a 4-star guy. This guy's got his choice of schools. It'll be interesting to see where he decides to go.
So another big third down here for the American team. 3rd down and 8. 3 flanked to the left this time. Bentley's got time, throws on the run, caught, and good for a first down across the way as it was corralled this time by Ishmael Zamora.
Ishmael Zamora headed to Baylor. That's a huge play right there by Bentley, too, extending the play, finding his man for a first down. We got another player down, not good.
That's one of the national players being tended to. And again, as always, we hope nothing serious. So the clock stops with 10:57 to go. We're in the 4th quarter at the Citrus Bowl in this 2014 Senior Bowl at the Offense-Defense camp here in Orlando. And again, more football coming up for you tomorrow on o-d.com and on GoLiveSportscast.com.
It's good to see it.
He's up almost immediately and trots to the sideline under his own power.
Going back to that last play, Zamora making that catch. Another tall receiver, 6'4", and he's going to love playing in that Baylor offense for Art Briles.
That was defensive tackle Craig Evans who was shaken up. But again, the good news is he was able to trot off the field unassisted. Ball's at the 45-yard line of the Americans. They've got it there, 1st down and 10, trailing by 15. A bad snap, and the quarterback, Shula Bentley, falls on the ball at the 40 for a loss of 5.
You hate that.
Yeah.
If you're playing for the American, an unforced error, you just converted, moved the sticks, got a first down, and now you've got a loss of 6 more yards on an unforced error.
They didn't do him any favors on the spot either, putting it back another yard to the 39. Fourth quarter here in chilly Orlando. Chilly yet still beautiful Orlando, Florida. 2nd down and 16 to go. Bentley, that ball's in the air a long time, and it's caught down there. A nice catch by Johnson out to the 44-yard line. And they get back essentially the yardage that they lost on the bad snap. So it'll be 3rd down and 11.
Michael Johnson going both ways tonight. Out of Champagnat High School, down south, state champion Champagnat, making the catch on the offensive side of the ball.
Oh, here we go, another big 3rd down for the American team. 3rd down and 11. Bentley with time, rolling, firing, caught down there, and a first down grab by Michael Johnson.
That's Michael Johnson again. You know, he's listed on the roster as a safety. He's made a couple big hits from the safety position. But just one of those guys that has athlete next to his name as position, and he won a state championship this year right here in this field, not more than a month ago, for Champagnat High School down in South Florida, and headed to Louisville.
And so now with this football game on the line, the American team has begun moving the ball. They're to the national 40. We're down to 9 minutes to go in the 4th quarter. The national team with a 15-point lead. Inside handoff, and it's not going to gain very much. Nice defensive play by Jawan Bentley to bring down the ball carrier after a gain of only a yard or so.
And Taiwan Deal on the carry, headed to Wisconsin. Big back at 225 pounds. But again, great job by the linebacking core of this national team.
Well, that's what the Americans need right now, is to have one of those running backs like Taiwan Deal bust one. 2nd down, 9 from the 39. Bentley stands in there and has his pass go off the hands of his intended receiver, maybe a little bit overthrown. And unable to make the catch was Vic Wharton, who's made a couple of catches earlier on in this drive.
Yeah, Bentley's going to want that one back. That's a miss. Kind of an unforced miss, a throw that he knows he should make. That brings up a tough 3rd and 9 now when you could have been more of a manageable 3rd and 5.
Well, you can be pretty sure Bentley will throw here. The protection is good. Rolls right, fires, and it's intercepted. The 4th interception of the football game by the national team.
Amura
There's Amura. He's got 2 of those 4 interceptions. And he picks it off around the 25-yard line. That's 3 interceptions thrown in this game by Schuler Bentley. And there was a 4th pick thrown by another Americans quarterback, Aline Edward.
Yeah, Murrah's got 2 of those interceptions, a couple pass breakups.
Yeah, he's had a great. He may be defensive player of the night.
Watch Bentley, 3rd and 9, trying to get something going. He extends the play to his right. And really with these automatic punts on 4th down, he tries to make an effort downfield, ill-advised. And another turnover. We've got a couple candidates on the defensive side of the ball for MVP, I think. I think another candidate would be William Kress, the quarterback, with the 2 touchdown passes.
There you go.
You've got some good efforts by 2 cornerbacks and the quarterback.
I don't know what the percentages are, Pat, but when you lose the turnover battle, your chances of winning. Here's a turnover the other way as the Nationals give the football right back. The pass was completed, picked up by the American team, and that ball is still alive. They've got a chance to score off this play. They are going to score off this play as ultimately it's picked up by Michael Rogers, and he goes racing into the end zone, returning it some 35 yards for a score. And what a turn of events on that play.
Well, Epps made a great catch, but then puts the ball on the ground, but I'd love to see if the recovery took place.
I thought the man was down.
The man was down.
Yeah.
I don't believe this is NFL professional football where you can get off the ground once your knee's down.
Exactly. But
in any event, there's no replay in high school.
Right.
No red flags, I should say. But, wow, what a huge turn of events.
Makes it 21-12. I'm really looking forward to seeing the replay of this one, as ultimately the ball was bouncing around back there. And number 22, Michael Rogers, I believe it was, picked it up, and then he went racing. A great run through the offense, turned defense, trying to stop him, and he takes it into the end zone.
I think it was Plattenberg. I think it was 27,
there we
John
go.
Plattenberg, who picked it up, but it sure looked like his knee was down. But they're lining up for the PAT. They may want to go for 2. They're going to go for 2 because they missed that PAT earlier in the game.
Exactly.
So I think it's smart. You got to go for 2 in this situation to make it a 1-possession game.
If they make it, they'll be within 7. So what a turn of events here in the 4th quarter of the Senior Bowl. And Schuler Bentley takes the snap. Oh, and he throws another interception. This could be returned for points, but it won't be, as it was picked off that time by Kendall Grant. So the 2-point conversion fails, and it remains 21-12. And I think we're going to take a look at the touchdown the Americans just scored right now.
Well, Epps makes a great catch, but just puts the ball on the ground. It's hard to tell if Plattenberg was down. I don't think he was, but what a great return. Plattenberg headed to UCLA in the Pac-12.
How about that?
I won't hold that against him, though.
There we go. Great job weaving through traffic.
Here's another look. Let's see if 27's on the ground. Oh, he just scooped it up.
Yep. Good call by the officials.
Good call right there by the officials, and an even better return by Plattenberg.
So into the end zone he goes. The 2-point fails, and it's still a 2-score game, unfortunately, for the Americans, as they trail it by 9, 21-12. About half the 4th quarter left to go. 7:39 showing on the Citrus Bowl clock here. So we had a pass completion and a fumble, and then a fumble recovery return for a touchdown by number 27 of the American team, John Plattenberg, out of Houston's Lamar High School.
Now you've got to, if you're a member of the American team now, you've got to find a way to get your defense off the field. This is a 2-possession game with 7 minutes and 39 seconds left. Critical right now defensively to get a stop.
Just wonder about it a little bit, I guess. If they'd kicked the extra point, they'd be down 8. And a touchdown would give them the chance conceivably to tie the score after a 2-point try. Come the Nationals on the return, and a good return it is by DeAndre Scott.
Yeah,
all the way out to the 40-yard line.
DeAndre Scott, a weapon back there, had that long return for what we thought was a touchdown and got called back, but what a weapon back there and an excellent return.
So the Nationals take over here with 7:24 left. And their lead down to 9, 21-12. It's been an entertaining Senior Bowl here tonight in Orlando. And there's got to be something in the rule where you can return the kickoff, but it doesn't count because they walked the football from the 40 back to the 25.
Yeah, they sure did. Now this American defense, they got to find a way to get a 3 and out, get their offense back on the field.
First and 10.
They'll run it on first down with the give to Stanley Williams for 2 or 3 yards. And, of course, that keeps the clock running, and that's what the national team wants, I think, more than anything else to do right now.
And even in the grand scheme of things, so good to see Williams back on the field. He
Right.
left the last time he was on the field. He got carried off, literally, and now he's back on the field.
Crest in at quarterback. He's gone most of the way at quarterback for the national team. Again, the give up the middle to Williams, and he got hit at the line of attack by number 91, Jabril Robinson. Got hit hard.
Yeah, Jabril Robinson hit him hard. Didn't wrap up, but got the quick whistle, which was positive for him. He's headed to Clemson, 6'3", 260, out of North Carolina.
And he looks 6'3", 260. 3rd down and 5. So here's the opportunity the Americans were hoping for, and they jump offside.
That's the same thing again. Now that's Tyler Powell. That's his 3rd or 4th.
Might be his 4th. Yeah.
Offsides.
Is that going to be? That's going to be awfully close to a first down. In fact, it will result in a first down. How about that?
Tyler Powell, a good football player, head of North Carolina,
Yeah.
but mental mistakes, something that you cannot have playing at the next level.
That one hurts them because, again, they had a chance to get him off the field on 3rd down, but now a fresh set of downs for the national team. And Williams around the left side, and the only thing he did wrong there was go out of bounds at the 41. I think you'd like to see him keep the ball in bounds and keep that clock running with 6:02 left to go in the 4th.
Yeah, Williams, he left the game earlier with that, looked like a leg injury. Maybe, he got a nice 5-6 yard gain, probably thought to himself, let me get out of bounds and save a hit.
There you go. Right. So 2nd down and 5. The quarterback, William Crest, moving his running back from one side to the other. Now he'll take that shotgun snap and hand to Williams right up the gut. Huge hole, and Williams picks up another first down, but he fumbled the football, and the Americans say they have it. Let's see. A big battle for that football, and the Americans have recovered. Williams got hit down there, fumbled the football out near midfield, and the Americans are going to take over, so they're still alive.
Huge play for the Americans. Somebody needed to make a play defensively to get their offense back on the field, being down 2 possessions, and they got it from their defense. Now a great opportunity to try to get back in this game right now.
I think it was Lawrence Marshall, number 7, who came up with the football. He's a young man who's headed for Michigan, not far from his home in Southfield, and I believe he recovered that football at the 48-yard line. So the American team with 5:42 left take over. Here's the replay.
You watch Williams.
Good looking run.
And a big hit from the linebacker coming from the backside. That's Kendall Joseph headed to Clemson with a forced fumble.
So 1st and 10, American team trailing it by 9 here in the 4th quarter. They've got another chance. Bentley fakes the handoff, pressure coming. He's going to be dropped in the backfield. Is coming through to sack him is Rick Leonard.
Rick Leonard coming shot out of a cannon off the edge, headed to Florida State. 6'7", 260, Richard. Big, tall, rangy defensive end. Long arm guy headed to Florida State.
How big a play was that? A loss of 8 on it. And 2nd down and 18.
You wonder, we have not seen much of Allen Edward, the quarterback.
Right.
The 4.4 speed play much this game for the red team.
Well, Bentley up against it now. Tries a little screen pass over the middle. And Dante Thomas Williams couldn't haul it in. I'm not sure it would have mattered much had he caught the ball because he was in traffic.
I see Alan Edward on the sideline. He looks healthy. You might want to see a changeup, but now with 4:53, they seem committed to stay with Schuler Bentley. And sometimes you need a spark. Sometimes you need to change things up. Red team continuing with Bentley.
If they want to go deep, that Alan Edward that we saw earlier certainly got the arm to throw it a long way. And another miscue on the snap, and Bentley's going to have to fall on the ball. And it's another loss for the American team. They're backing up.
Unforced error. And
again.
Now you've got to go for it. You don't want to punt it here, but looks like they're going to.
Now they have to get from their own 38 to the national 38 to pick up the first down. That's 24 yards.
That's tough, but you're down 2 possessions, and now you got to hope your defense can get you the ball back quickly.
No, I think we're going to see an automatic punt, though.
Yeah, we are.
4:24 to go, and I mean your odds of picking up a 4th and 24 are certainly not great.
Absolutely, you're right.
Timeout situation is 3 left for the Americans, so they have that going for them.
Right now, the clock's running, though, this whole time.
Exactly.
They're trying to set up this punt. They got guys straggling in and out. They need to get going and get this punt off.
We've gone under 4 minutes to go here in the fourth quarter. 21-12, the national team leading the American team in the Senior Bowl.
Well, they lost a lot of time on that. You wonder why they even need to have 11 on the field if there's no one defending it. Just go out there and kick it as quick as you can. The clock has ticked. They've lost over a minute in just trying to punt the football on a free punt.
And it finally stops with 3:39 left to go. Well, Pat, I got to tell you, I have enjoyed this football game immensely. I really have. We've seen some great plays, and again, now I've got a sort of a mental list going of kids I'm going to watch come next fall when the college season starts again.
The Michigan State is represented here well.
I'll be watching them from all over the country. No gain on first down. And the ball carrier was Stanley Williams. He's seen a lot of carries here in this fourth quarter. They'll give him a yard on it. Actually, 2 out to the 30. So it must have been some pretty good second effort there. And it's 2nd down and 8. The clock, the issue now. 3:10 to go, and it's running. Dump it off into the left flat. It's caught down there by DJ Chark, and he's hammered out of bounds.
Well, defense is doing their job. You know, they've got now a 3rd down. They've got to find a way to get off the field here and hold, get the ball back.
There you go.
To their red offense.
And another situation there where the national team could have kept that ball in bounds, but they wind up out of bounds and a stopped clock. So, William Crest Jr., the quarterback for the national team. Scott Williams off his right hip, the running back. He's going to hand to Williams. Trying the left side, and he's brought down. Is coming up to knock him off his feet is number 32, Kyle Gibson.
Now, you know, you may want to use a timeout.
Right.
Because this punt deal where they punt against air.
They may have. The clock is stopped.
Okay.
I didn't see a timeout signal by the official.
Yeah, but they did stop the clock.
They did stop the clock, right.
Interesting.
And the ball didn't go out of bounds, so I'm at a bit of a loss to explain why they stopped the clock.
Yeah, because they didn't stop it before.
Exactly.
And they lost a minute of football.
Right.
Interesting.
It is. Yeah, it's been nice seeing these little wrinkles in this game that you don't see every Friday night or Saturday afternoon or Sunday afternoon. And most of all, it's been a lot of fun watching these young players. And again, some names to watch. And as we've talked about, as you mentioned, Des Bryant has played in this Senior Bowl. Cam Newton has played in the Senior Bowl.
Winner, you know,
yeah,
I mean,
right.
You're looking at players out here that you're going to hear about over the next 4 years and maybe beyond.
Exactly. So it's and I will say this. I know we're talking about a stadium that seats about 65,000 people, but given the situation, we have a pretty good crowd on hand to watch this game here tonight.
Yeah, and a good crowd online.
2,000 or 3,000 people. I know, 70,000 people, they tell us. There's the free kick. And we will, as we have learned to do, just wait to see where the officials decide to put the ball.
And they never wound the clock.
They
so,
never. Exactly. When the American team took their free kick, it took a minute off the clock, and when the national team took their free kick, it didn't take a second off the clock.
If I'm Coach Jenkins,
I'm thinking maybe
I'd be
just
a little concerned, a little upset.
maybe it just all evens out on the wash.
I guess so.
So they'll put the ball on the 35-yard line. And again, it's a two-score game here for the Americans as they trail it by 9. Don't forget, after the game, the awards ceremony. We'll have it for you here on o-d.com. Pat, don't worry, we're going to let you go. But we've certainly enjoyed being up here. We're going to let you go somewhere warm. And boy, our thanks from the entire crew for joining us here tonight. It has been a delight. Pass play up the middle, and a nice job of picking up yardage after the catch by Dante Thomas Williams. Right up the middle, out towards the midfield stripe, just a little shy of it.
Yeah, I like this Dante Thomas Williams. I'll be really curious to see where he goes to school. Guys out of North Carolina, size, power, 4.5 speed. Some people are thinking he may end up going to NC State. We'll see.
So Bentley looking to throw again. Needs points on the board, needs it in a hurry. Completes the pass. There are 3 national players there immediately to put a lick on the receiver on that play.
This secondary
they're fast,
of
right?
the national.
I mean, they close in a hurry.
They have tremendous speed and closing speed and run to the ball effectively.
The ball signaled ready for play as we hit 2 minutes to go here in the fourth quarter. 21-12, national team with the lead. Bentley in trouble, escapes. Little toss is going to pick up some big-time yardages down the right-hand sideline, and inside the 20-yard line goes Dante Thomas Williams. And again, outstanding yards after the grab by Williams. Probably ran for 25 yards after he caught the football.
And a good job by Schuler Bentley extending the play and finding his athlete for a huge gain. The clock stopped while they moved the chains. Now they wind it.
They're at the 19-yard line are the Americans. I wonder what the rule is regarding an onside kick. Well, maybe we'll have an opportunity to find out because it might mean something. Bentley tries the left side this time, completes it, and that wide receiver didn't get out of bounds.
Stayed in bounds.
It was caught by number 36, Greg Stroman, who's listed as a quarterback. But he catches that pass, and unfortunately for him and his team, he was unable to get out of bounds, and now we're at 1 minute to go. 2nd down and 6, the situation, and of greater importance, the American team. Well, they're running out of time here. Clock continues to run with 50 seconds to go.
They have 3 timeouts to use, and
right.
They've lost a lot of time.
So Bentley takes the snap. Takes a look over the middle, and it's caught down there inside the 5-yard line. That'll stop the clock on the 1st down. A beautiful throw by Bentley. And was that Vic Wharton III who caught it, number 23? I believe it was.
Tennessee-bound Wharton.
All right, 1st down and goal to go from the 3. And now they run it. And this is going to cost him. They better call that timeout in a hurry. Oh, he got in.
Wow.
He got in. How about that?
I lost him in there.
I did too. Dante Thomas Williams. I wasn't even sure he was the guy that took the original handoff, but when the play was over, he was in the end zone with the football. And with 22 seconds to go, it's a 3-point game.
Now this is getting interesting.
Right.
They need to kick this PAT and make it. And then, like you said, Richard, what are the onside kick rules? And this becomes interesting.
Maybe there's an automatic onside kick in this game. It's going to be interesting now. Here's the point after in the air and through the uprights off the toe of A.J. Wells. So 22 seconds to go, and it's a 2-point game, 21-19. And it has turned out to be everything it was advertised to be. It's been a tremendous football game between these high school seniors.
Well, and you wonder about the minute lost
right
on the free punt 2 possessions ago. You know, what would the situation be then? But in any event, 3 timeouts, onside kick coming. We'll see what the rule is.
Here's the replay. Touchdown run.
I really lost the back here, but look at the second effort. I still lost him on the replay.
I don't think that the original handoff went to Dante Thomas Williams. I thought he handed it off to, I'm not sure, maybe Taiwan Deal. But anyways, the ball wound up in the end zone.
It sure did. It looked like he was tackled for no gain,
yeah.
And they were going to have to burn a timeout. And next thing you know, they have a touchdown, and now it's a 2-point game.
There we go. 22 seconds remaining. And now you go back and you think about things like that extra point that glanced off the upright and stayed out. They would not have needed to go for 2 had they made the original point after touchdown. We could be looking at a tie game here with 20 seconds left.
And they're lining up for the onside kick.
Yes, sir.
This is something that with short amount of time to teach your coverage team to handle an onside kick. You can see them scrambling here, the kick return team, to line up properly to defend and receive this onside kick.
They'll call a timeout. A.J. Wells is the kicker for the American team. I've often wondered why, in a situation like this, everybody knows the ball's got to go 10 yards, why you don't just try to maybe float it over that initial line of the defense, have it bounce around on there. You never know what's going to happen when a football starts bouncing, and maybe you have a better chance of recovering it there. Or what we saw at the end of the Alabama-Oklahoma game last night on that squib kick, the last play of the game, where it glanced off an Alabama player and Oklahoma was able to recover. Kick it right at one of their guys and hope the ball comes free.
Well, now they're lining up for a normal kick.
Does look that way, doesn't it? Well, let's find out what happens.
A lot of confusion right now. I think they had 12 on the field as well.
Well,
they had 12 on the field. Now there's a discussion with an official of the game, not official in stripes, discussing the rules.
It may be a question of whether or not an onside kick is permitted by rule.
Correct.
So the situation, 22 seconds to go in a 2-point football game, National 21, American 19. 4 turnovers tonight by the American team, 4 interceptions. And now you've got the national team coaching staff again coming out onto the field.
Well, it'd be a shame if they wouldn't allow an onside kick.
I agree.
On the other hand, it is a dangerous potential play in an all-star game when you don't want to get anybody injured. But if you don't allow the onside kick, you don't allow competition to try to win. So there's
I think they're going to let them try it. They've got the American team has 7 players lined up to the left of the football as they view the football, and 4 to the far side of the football. And that's one too many guys because you also have to have a kicker. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's 6 players to the left of the football on the near side as we look at it. The other 4 are on the far side. And the kicker,
the coach,
A.J. Wells, isn't quite sure what's going on, and the coaches are going crazy.
The coach on the other lot of discussion between the American coach, the officials in stripes, and the official running the game about what to do.
And I don't want to get up here and editorialize or whatnot, but you know what? In a situation like this, I think my feeling is let the young men play.
Right.
Let's see what happens.
Well, it looks like they're going to allow it.
Here we go. Wells standing just 4 yards or so behind the football. Chips at it, and it's recovered by the national team. Nice job. Sure hands by Cameron Hampton to take it on that first hop, and now all the national team has to do is take a knee with 20 seconds to go. So it's been a terrific football game, and it looks for all intents and purposes as though the national team's going to come away with a victory 21-19, and their defense did a great job for them here on this one tonight with the 4 interceptions that were so key to the victory.
And on the other side of it, American turned it over 4 times, and it's still a 2-point ball game.
Right,
so,
right.
A lot of big plays were made. Both defenses played very well tonight. It appears no one got seriously hurt, which is always a positive. And I'm sure a great experience for these guys, and they enjoyed it.
And a big part of the story, that national defense in the third quarter holding the American team to 6 total yards. Really kept them off the board when the game was close. And we have victory formation here at the Citrus Bowl.
And Coach John Jenkins got a ice bath, and their team didn't win, so it looked like they're all having fun,
Yeah.
And that's what's important.
Well, it was a terrific football game, and we saw what we thought we were going to see. The best high school football players in America in Senior Bowl 2014, the national team coming away with a victory by a final score of 21-19. Now we'll in a moment or so, we'll head down to the field. Kara Rowe will have an interview or two lined up for us, and tell you what, story of the football game, those 4 interceptions by the national defense, 2 of them by Kendall Sawyer, 1 returned for a touchdown, a 54-yard interception returned for a score, and another couple of interceptions by Amara of the national team. There's a Gatorade bath, and the national team coach takes a heavy tumble across the way.
He went to the ground. I hope he's okay.
That was one of the biggest hits we've seen all night long.
Oh, my goodness.
How about that? All right, so the awards ceremony is coming up. And, Pat, I want to tell you, just on behalf of our entire crew, what a pleasure it's been to have you up here in the booth with us tonight. I've enjoyed it immensely. Thanks so much for joining us.
This has been great. It's been wonderful, and really glad to be here, and very familiar being here in the Citrus Bowl.
Okay, well, you got a new fan for your New Orleans voodoo. I'll be following them from now on. Pat,
excellent.
So nice to meet you, and thanks for joining us here tonight.
Thank you, Richard.
All right. Pat O'Hara up here with us in the booth tonight as Senior Bowl 2014 comes to an end. The national team victorious by a final score of 21-19. I have a feeling a few of these players actually want to get to the locker room and warm up a little bit. We've got the awards ceremony coming up. We'll carry that for you live here on O-D.com and on GoLiveSportscast.com. But it was a terrific end to this football day. A great Senior Bowl, and boy, I'll tell you what, a lot of kids out there that we're going to be seeing coming up shortly. As we see Kara down below, and she's all set to go. Kara Rowe on the sidelines with one of the stars of the game. Kara?
I'm Patera Wilson Jr. having a great game. Talk to me about this. Everyone has smiles. It doesn't matter win or lose. Everyone seems to have that big smile.
I mean, you can't forget it's still an All-American game, so at the end of the day, you got to have fun.
So how does it feel to be picked to be a part of this bowl game?
It feels wonderful. I mean, I'm picked as one of the best of the best in the nation, and I like having the environment 1 week with my friends I made over the weekend, and it was just amazing.
Yeah, did you make new friends this week? I mean, it's been 2 days. It's been a tough week.
2 days now, we made friends each and every day. It was amazing.
So we saw Coach Jenkins get dosed with water. Is that obviously a sign of respect to you? Everyone had a smile on their face. So talk to me about your relationship with him over this past week.
Sign of respect. Win, lose, or draw. We won motivationally. I mean, it was a great game.
Now talk to me about where you're going next year.
Still deciding. You'll find out in a few weeks.
So what does this change for your summer plans, before you go away for the fall?
Get bigger, get stronger, get faster.
All right, good luck.
Thank you.
All right, back up to you, Rich.
All right, thank you, Kara. Joined by Patera Wilson. Is not letting any cats out of the bag there. He's undecided, and he's not telling us at this point where he's going to play his college ball.
Yeah, Patera Wilson, 6'2", 215, a guy out of Tennessee, the Memphis area. So you wonder, the Volunteers are all over him, and he's got a lot of choices.
If I had to bet, I'd say he's going to Kentucky.
Yeah, yeah, right. We had 6 of them, and on that one squad headed to Kentucky. An excellent job of recruiting. They did an excellent job last year recruiting as well, and a lot of players we're going to see play on Saturdays next year, next 4 years, and maybe beyond.
Pat, who stuck out in your mind as the most valuable player in this game here tonight?
I really liked the cornerbacks from the national team. Asara And I really liked, Kendall Sawyer, the 2 interceptions. He started off the game right off the bat, jumping that hitch route, taking it to the house, headed to South Florida. And you heard Woody Womack say a lot of people thought, he was going to go to University of Miami or a bigger conference-type school. He impressed me. Crest, quarterback, impressed me too. But there's a lot of good players.
There really were. There really were. I guess this is my first experience with the Senior Bowl, and I didn't realize the magnitude of it, the level of competition until you actually see it for yourself.
I mean, all you got to do is look at the schools.
Sure.
I mean, LSU's represented, South Carolina, Florida State, UCLA, Tennessee, Wisconsin, Baylor, Virginia Tech.
Right.
I mean, everyone's represented.